Hey, thanks everybody. We're going to do another staff edition. Gabby wasn't able to join us today, but Ryan is joining us from Florida. Ryan, say hi. Say hi to everybody.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Well, it's going great for us, but I don't know about the people watching. And also my lovely wife Carla is joining us. Say hi, Carla.
Hi, everybody.
And so we are going to be going over the top 5 attractions, our favorite attractions at Islands of Adventure. We've done this for City Walk. We did our top 5 dining experiences with each one of us. And we've also done it with our top 5 attractions at Universal Studios. And now we're going to be looking at our top 5 attractions at Islands of Adventure. And so we'll just get right. It's attractions. It doesn't have to be a ride, even though there's not really a lot of shows and things at Islands of Adventure. There are some other things like the Frog Choir, which, I could do without. I'm just saying.
Really? That's like my number one.
Yeah, I'm
just so surprised.
What, Ryan?
I said that's my number one. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
See,
it's
Ryan
not your
knows.
number
Yeah,
one.
it's our favorite.
Yeah. That is no one's number one. I'm convinced that even the cast of the Frog Choir is like, I can't wait till they shoot this in the head. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm wrong. We probably have people who will comment on it now and say no.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, I figure we'll start with you, and we'll just go through each one of our top 5s, and we'll talk about each one. So don't just list your 5. Let's talk about 5 and see how it goes from there, and we'll give it a shot. So, Ryan, switching over to you, what is your 5th favorite attraction at Islands of Adventure?
I'm Lozo, and here comes number 5.
Okay, number 5. This was a really tough list because I like a lot of things in islands. I have a lot of rides that I've been going to since I was a kid, so it's kind of hard to put them in order because I love so much there. But when I was putting the list together, Hulk is number 5 for me.
The Incredible Hulk roller coaster?
Yes, the Incredible Hulk roller coaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
5.
Now, you, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan, I don't think you ever rode this prior to the new track.
I did.
You did? Okay. Which one do you like better?
I like the old one better.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
The new one's a little rougher. It slings you around a lot more. And I remember on the old track when I would go, I wouldn't come out with a headache or feeling woozy or anything. On the new one, I get a headache almost every time that I go on. And I'm good with roller coasters. They don't usually bother me at all. But the new track, it gives me a headache almost every time.
Maybe you just need to bring your walker to the park when you go riding the roller coasters there, right?
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
I appreciate that.
You know what's interesting? Now, we need to reference that, Carla, you and I have not been on VelociCoaster.
No.
So that's not going to be on our top 5.
No.
Right. But Ryan has been on.
Yeah, so this will be interesting.
And I'm willing to bet that it will be on Ryan's top 5. And I bet it's somewhere high on that list. So that we need to mention that to everybody. We haven't been on it yet. We're really looking forward to doing that. Probably going to be September before we get on it. But
yes.
But looking forward to that. Ryan has been on it, so you can probably expect that to be on his list. Incredible Hulk is somewhere on my list. I'm not going to say where. It for a long time was the best roller coaster I had ever been on. The launch when you come out of it, is just spectacular. It really is. I love that launch, and the ride never slows down from there. It's just constant, intense thrill. Right? I agree with you. I liked the old track better than the new track. I thought it was smoother, and there are times when I also I'm jerked around so much that I also get a headache. And it goes away. It's not like this long-lasting headache. It's not like, hey, I'm not going to do the ride because of that. But yeah, I also like it better. Carly, what's your take on the Hulk? Are you a fan of the Hulk? Because I know you kind of go sometimes you don't.
I know. I actually love the Hulk roller coaster. I love being launched out of it. That's probably like my favorite part of it all. But if I don't do it, I don't feel like it doesn't ruin anything for me. Let's put it that way.
Right.
I guess I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't go, but it's not like if I didn't go on something else that will be,
we've been
in my
that way
list.
too. Every time that Gabby and I have gone lately in the last, year, if we'll show up to the park, we'll go straight past the Hulk. We'll start, going to Hagrid or whatever. And at the end of the day, we're like, oh, we didn't even ride the Hulk at all. And we had a great day. It wasn't something that was a huge letdown. Whereas it used to be like we had to hit it every single time we went. So it definitely is starting to kind of fall down the rankings of like rides when we walk into the park we have to do. It's kind of weird because it was always my favorite.
Yeah, it was always
a lot of new things that have come in have really kind of pushed it off to the side a little bit.
Yeah, and I mentioned that in a previous video, or maybe it was a live stream, I can't remember. Universal Studios has given us a new attraction for 6 years in a row.
Yeah.
6 years in a row, we've gotten a new attraction every year.
That's true.
Which is remarkable if you really think about it. A theme park gives you a brand new, multi-million-dollar attraction every year. And I don't know if there's a new one coming. It was on one of the Retheme Q's videos. I was like, you know what? I'd really like maybe just pass on a new attraction and let's just update some of the queues. that would be something I'd be happy about. Mm-hmm. Okay, Ryan. So the Incredible Hulk roller coaster is number 5 for you. What's number 4?
Number 4 is Spider-Man. Spider-Man has always been one of my favorites. It's always been high on my list, and it is kind of like what I was talking about with the Hulk. It is always one of those rides that when we get into the park, I'm like, okay, we got to go do this at least one time today, and then I'll be happy with Spider-Man. It's just iconic. It's been there for so long. That's a ride that I've gone on since I was a kid, and I never, ever get tired of it. So it will always and forever be one of my favorites. That's number 4 for me.
Prior to the creation of Forbidden Journey, the first Harry Potter, Spider-Man was the most award-winning attraction in the history of theme parks. A dark ride. And understandably so. It was groundbreaking. It was state-of-the-art. Nothing had ever been done like that. It is also on my list. And I'm with you. I would never miss that attraction. I'd wait in line. That's one of the few attractions, if I didn't have Express Pass, I'd wait an hour for. It is absolutely one of my favorite. It is iconic. I mean, it helps growing up a Spider-Man guy.
And that's what I was just going to say. It does not hurt that you were, the little spider nerd as a child.
Why'd you have to say little? Why couldn't it have just been a spider nerd? Why'd it have to be the little spider nerd?
Because you were once a little child.
Yeah, but I like Spider-Man now.
Not much has changed. What?
That's right. I mean, I do. I own all of the movies. I really don't like how Disney has I don't like how they portrayed him. I like Tom Holland fine as the actor, but I don't like what they've done with the character of Spider-Man.
No, I'd agree with you on that.
And so I don't like that. But I love Spider-Man, and that is a huge part of why I like this attraction. Like I said, it's also my list. What's your take on Spider-Man?
You're a spiderling.
I'm a spiderling.
Yeah, that's it. I love Spider-Man. I love that queue. I think it is just
it's a great queue.
So cool. It is really cool there.
It's like being in a comic book. The queue is like being in a comic book. The color schemes.
You're walking through
really
frames. It's just so cool.
Yeah.
Well, what's cool is that Universal doesn't have the rights to the newer Spider-Man franchise. So the old one is what they have to stick to. If they're going to have a Spider-Man themed ride in their park, which is what they do have, it has to be the older version. So I think it's kind of cool that it preserves the older history of where Spider-Man came from. So it really kind of throws you back to, as you watch like all these newer Spider-Mans that are coming out with all the updated stuff. It's cool to step into a queue and into a ride that's all based on, the very beginnings of Spider-Man and what it was. So I think it's cool in a way that Universal doesn't have the rights to all the newer franchises and the new stuff, because it really kind of makes them have to preserve the past of what Spider-Man was.
Right, and they own those rights in perpetuity. They have really, Disney cannot put a Marvel attraction that was created prior to the perpetuity agreement on the East Coast at all. They can put anything they want in Disneyland, but not in the Magic Kingdom or in the Disney World Park, which is their main hub.
Right.
So it's kind of a cool thing. All right, so The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man is number 4. Number 3.
Stop and take a watch. It's number 3.
Number 3, I feel like people are going to be mad at me for this, but Hagrid is number 3. I'll explain myself a little bit.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best. I don't like the queue at Hagrid's.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, I get it.
The queue is okay. There's a couple of parts that are really good. Like the screen shows, like that stuff is really cool, but if you catch it on the wrong day and the line's moving fast, then you're not going to catch any of that part.
We've never seen that show. Not one time have we seen that show.
We have
got to wait a while.
Yeah, and we've never seen it.
the fact that they still don't have express bothers me. I wish they would do an express line already. The queue, I'm not a fan of. And so it kind of takes away from the overall experience. I like Hagrid, the ride. I think it's really good, but I haven't been as high on it as everybody else because you still have to go wait. Unless if you get there on the right day, you got to wait a long time to get on Hagrid. And to me, I would much rather go do other things with an express pass than wait for 2 hours in line for Hagrid, which is done in 3 minutes.
You guys both, I know that neither your mom doesn't like the queue. Carly doesn't like the queue either. I
Not
like
really.
the queue. What's wrong with the queue? What more could they do?
I
think it's actually one of the better queues. I do.
I think it's boring. I don't know.
I agree.
A lot of it's outside, so I want to spend. If I'm in Florida and it's 90 degrees outside and I'm sweating my butt off, I want to be inside if I'm going to wait a long time in a queue. And if you get stuck outside, I don't care if Hagrid's hut and all the pumpkins are there for me to look at. I'm sweating and I hate everything at that spot in my life. So I'm like, get me inside, and then maybe it'll be more interesting. But then when you get inside, a lot of it's just kind of dark and going through lines. It's not like a lot of stuff to see. There's nothing really interactive.
Right.
When you're going through that whole room with all the dinosaur eggs, I'm like, who cares? There's nothing about this that's like, wow, look at that.
No.
It's cool the first time. But I mean, there's only a couple of spots where I actually think the queue is cool. Like the screen shows when you're inside of Hagrid's actual hut, like looking at his gloves and stuff, I think that's cool. But I mean, aside from that, when you get to the line right before the ride and you have the show or like graphics or whatever going up on the ceiling, it's also cool. But I feel like all that stuff, once you see it a couple of times, it's like, yeah, whatever. I just want to get on the ride and go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me just throw this out there. It is a new state-of-the-art attraction that people waited in line for 11 hours when it first opened. So it's not realistic to put the whole queue indoors. That can't happen. There's no way. They'd have to.
Sure.
You'd have to enclose the entire park. So you can't do that. So there's elements of this park that have to be outdoors.
Right.
And I think they did a brilliant job of showing you the backside of Hagrid's hut. Remember, you can see the front side if you're waiting in line for Flight of the Hippogriff, right?
Right.
So now they've incorporated that to the backside of the queue, right? And you do get different perspectives. You do have, you're right, the pumpkins. And I'll grant you, Ryan, it's hot, but it's always hot. I mean, you're never getting away from the heat. That's going to be there no matter what. So considering they had to put part of this queue outside, that they've made it at least entertaining. There's something for you to look at. It's not like Despicable Me where you're just waiting in a line where there's nothing to look at all. You know, the first portion of Despicable Me is just rows and rows of line. That's it. So they've given you something to look at. Not to mention that when you look out over the actual attraction and you see the motorbikes going on the course and you hear, there's an element of excitement that's growing from the queue in watching that. I think a better argument was what he said. When you get inside, it's really nothing special. It really isn't. There's some cool things, but once you've seen them, you've seen them. Mm-hmm. So I have a different. I think it's a good queue. I don't think it's the best queue, but I think it's a really good queue. And I know you guys didn't like it that much, but I'm surprised this is number 3. Yeah, that shocks me.
Yeah, some people might be mad.
Well, yeah, they'll get over it. Okay, anything you want to add to that?
Well, I start thinking about like the different places that they could have gone. With
tell me about that.
Hagrid's story, like remember in the movies, like where he was talking with Tom Riddle and Aragog was in question. I mean, they could have like gone down different hallways and different areas and explored that a little bit more. This to me, it's just very, okay, great. It's not the same as like when you go to Forbidden Journey.
Yeah, but what is?
Yeah.
There is no comparing anything to that queue.
I do not deny that. But I think they could have done something a little more along those lines with this, and kind of brought it up to speed, because I feel like one is so dominant in the queue. It's just like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And the other is like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, all right. So Ryan, we don't, because we're going to talk about Hagrid too when it comes to us, so we can add that. So Hagrid Motorbike Adventure is number 3. What's number 2?
Number 2 is Forbidden Journey for me. Would have been number 1, 100%. It has been number one on my list for the longest time. I love that ride. The queue's incredible. Like I was saying with Hagrid, in a lot of queues you go through and you see something and you're like, yeah, cool. I've seen it a million times. In Forbidden Journey, I could go through that queue and spend hours and hours and hours. I would almost rather go through the regular queue than do the express lane because it's so awesome, all the stuff that they put in the queue. So that is by far my favorite queue of any ride I've ever been on.
That is, without question, I don't mean to interrupt you. That's the best queue in the history of theme park attractions. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I don't think you can top it. I think it's just so good. There's interactive stuff. I mean, there's so many things to see, but the ride is also amazing. It's like, it was so cutting edge when it came out, and it's still in a lot of parts. I forget some things that happen on the ride. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, it looks so good. It's so much fun to be in a Quidditch match and do, just be interacting kind of with the characters in Harry Potter. I think the ride's awesome. It has been forever my favorite ride since it's come out until now. So Forbidden Journey.
I think we know what number one is going to be. Ryan, let me, I'll share with everybody. I heard a report, I have not substantiated this, but I think it's true, that Universal has filed patent laws or patent rights or when they put forth, hey, this is what we're going to build for another ride system identical to Forbidden Journey in Epic Universe. So there's going to be apparently another attraction that has that same ride cart, that same concept, which is, again, state of the art. And Forbidden Journey is the attraction that overtook Spider-Man for the most awarded dark ride. And so, prior to that, Spider-Man had won a bunch, and then this. Do you have, so that's it. Do you have an honorable mention, Ryan?
I do.
Okay, let's hear it.
My honorable mention is River Adventure.
I could see that.
My favorite water ride. I love this ride. I'm always really happy to go on it. The only thing with me is that you can really only go part of the year, because if it's chilly outside, like if you go in January or December and it's in the 60s, I'm not trying to get wet.
Right.
It's a roll of the dice, because sometimes you go on that ride and you come out pretty dry, and then there are other times that you're soaked from head to toe. It really depends on where you sit. So I really like it a lot, but it really depends on the time of the year and if I feel like getting drenched. And even then, it's you just don't know what you're getting out of it. But it is a really fun ride. It's just with how little you can really go on it. Yeah, and the queue sucks.
The queue is horrible, and it was number one on my list of queues that need to be rethemed. Yeah, it's and they could have done so much with it. I said on that video that I wish they had created a queue the way that Animal Kingdom with Disney did with Everest, the Everest roller coaster, because that's a great queue.
Expedition Everest. Yeah, that's it.
If they had done that, they could have done that. Imagine they could have taken Discovery Center, all the stuff that's in Discovery Center, put versions of it in the queue to River Adventure, and you would have had an amazing attraction.
Oh, yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah.
And I wish they had done that. I mean, all the stuff, because as it is, you're just waiting in line with ropes separating you.
Think about that.
It's not good. It's really not. And it is also on my list. So River Adventure is your honorable mention. Gosh, what's your number one, Ryan?
I know what it is.
It's the Carousel.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not. It's Poseidon's Fury. I know
That's gone. Stormforce Accelatron, Ryan. What could it possibly be?
Number one.
No, it's VelociCoaster for sure.
Kidding. Yeah.
For it to be number one and only having ridden it one time, the ride's amazing. I know a lot of people probably haven't ridden it yet.
Well, it hasn't officially opened yet, so even at the airing of this video, most people have not ridden it.
Right. Well, they have done soft opening, so if you've ridden it, it's incredible. The queue's really, really good. They've got some awesome stuff in the queue where they've got, velociraptors caged up, and they're like moving and blinking and looking at you, and it looks completely real. The queue's awesome. The ride is, really probably one of the best roller coasters I've ever been on. If you've seen the live reaction that Gabby and I did.
Yeah, I have.
If you haven't, go check it out. But the ride's amazing. I will go on that ride every time I'm there, no doubt. Some of these other rides on this list for me, I could stand not to go on every single time. This is not one of them. I got to go on every single time. It's a blast.
Sure. Okay. Well, Carla and I can't even comment on that, having not been on it. I've been avoiding POVs even because I want it to be fresh when we do go.
Yeah.
I have.
Don't watch.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't plan on. I have seen some Q videos, and I've spoken with some people on our live stream who, like Alex from Macedon Vlogs, who's been on it.
Yeah.
And it's getting a lot of love. The people who've been on it are saying kind of what you're saying, that it's an amazing, fast. And the thing everybody says it's super fast, super intense.
Yeah, it definitely is. It feels so. We said this on the live reaction that Hagrid feels faster than the Hulk, just due to the angles of where you're turning and stuff like that. The VelociCoaster feels like 10 times faster than Hagrid.
Gosh.
It feels so fast, and the fact a lot of people probably won't like it, or if you've ridden it, don't like it. I love the fact that it's only a lap bar because it scares the crap out of you, which is just fun. If you're going on a roller coaster, part of it's being scared.
Sure.
And when you're going upside down, full inversions. I mean, there's a part where you're completely gliding upside down for a good 2-3 seconds. Your butt's out of the seat, and you feel like, all right, I could definitely slip out of this cart and go flying. So part of it is the scare factor. It's so
I know,
high
I'm
intensity
horrified
with
just
that.
talking about it.
It's amazing. It's such a fun ride.
Cool. All right. Well, that's Ryan's top 5. We'll recap them. The Incredible Hulk was 5. The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man 4. Hagrid's Magical Motorbike Adventure was number 3. Number 2 is A Forbidden Journey. Honorable mention to River Adventure, Jurassic Park River Adventure. And number 1 is the VelociCoaster, which has not even opened yet. So there you have it. That's Ryan's top 5. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that. Hey, there she is. There's the Gab.
Gabby!
How you feeling better?
I'm feeling okay.
Okay. I'm sorry we missed you doing this, but
I know, I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. We just want you to feel better. Gabby, off the top of your head, just give us a top 5. 5 favorite things that you like at Islands of Adventure.
You guys better not get mad at me because I didn't have time to think.
I won't get mad at you. Why don't you go with number 1? Like, start with your favorite.
Can I start from number 1?
Yeah.
Number 1, VelociCoaster. Number 2, Hagrid.
Okay.
Number 3, Spider-Man.
Okay.
Number 4, The River Adventure.
Okay.
And number 5, Forbidden Journey.
Okay. Good. Good. I can love it. Very good.
I can live with that.
I will harass you for none of that. Ryan can shake his head and make faces if he wants. I mean, I don't understand it. Put them back on there, Marcus. I mean, because he can't even look at her right now. He can't even look at her. There you go. Perfect. All right. So, guys, that's your video. Remember to check us out during the week for daily updates as we get news that is worth posting about. Also, remember to like and subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can be made aware every time we put out a new video. Thanks for everything. Remember, go bless somebody else today. Go do something amazing for somebody else. Let it cost you something. And don't expect anything in return, and watch the awesome, amazing, unbelievable things that happen in your life. We'll see you.